The history department at the University of Natal is legendary for its seminar culture and the Shark Tank. And what do you remember of it in those days?
Oh, the Shark Tank. It was simultaneously exhilarating, terrifying, stimulating, rigorous, hard work, and at times fun. It was held every week of the academic year between 3 and 4:30 on a Wednesday afternoon. Full papers were uploaded in advance on the website or on Moodle, and all members of staff and postgraduate students were expected to read critically and to ask relevant questions. People came from economic history, philosophy, anthropology, sociology, politics, and more, but historians were at the heart and at the core of it. As a presenter, you had 20 minutes to speak to, but not read the paper, and then face questions for over an hour. This made you defend your arguments, exposed you to their weaknesses very graphically, gave you advice, and was most often very helpful. Reading outside your own narrow area of expertise and formulating questions makes for engaged scholarship. My thinking about my own research changed a great deal and was a lot better for those seminars. Your skin couldn't be too thin or your head too big, no matter what academic rank you held. But jazz, wine, pizza afterwards were often a balm to a few bruised egos. It was the most intellectually stimulating experience I've ever had and was cumulatively beneficial. I wish it could be duplicated, replicated.
And then the big personalities. People often associate Jeff Guy with the department. What are your memories of him?
Big man, yeah. I first read Jeff's work on the ecological factors on the rise of the Zulu kingdom, I think in the late 1980s, as one of the readings for one of Ruth Edgecombe's courses in economic history. I first met him, though I'm sure he didn't notice me at all, at a workshop on the Pietermaritzburg campus, which must have been held shortly after his return to South Africa in 1992. He was then returning as head of the history department in Durban. He was tall. I am very short. He was intimidating and appeared constitutionally grumpy. He did not suffer those he considered fools. But he set about building a very dynamic department, first with Jonas Seletti. He later went on to Campbell Collections, Catherine Burns, Keith Breckenridge, Mareka du Toit, and at that time a series of short-term appointments. And later the department grew to include Tembisa Wachin, Gulam Wahed, Kalpana Hirilal, and Vukile Kumalo. Jabulani Sitole was in Maritzburg, joined there by Vanessa Noble. Fluent in his Zulu, Jeff was dedicated to archival research. He navigated balancing Marxist-inspired materialist analysis with questions of power, gender, and biography. As a first-year lecturer, he is remembered as passionate, sweaty, an excellent teacher of regional histories, and he insisted on beginning the academic year by talking about Southern Africa, not South Africa, in terms of a tri-continental frontier of interactions across land and sea. Jeff was famous for his feuds, but to me, he was generous and encouraging. He shared archival sources with me and took my forays into the colonial archives seriously. He was formidably well informed about how those archives fitted together, knowledge which he shared with his postgraduate students, insisting that you read not just a document previously identified on the database of NAIRS, but around it, tracing the thread, finding the grain, and then reading against the grain. He was scathing in his views of the atrocities perpetrated in the name of British or any other so-called civilization. He was a magnificent orator. The preparation was extensive, painstaking, and nerve-wracking for him and the rest of us. He was a fierce debater on many things. He was very funny in a wicked way and absolutely committed to scholarship. He loved birds, and he was a menace behind the wheel.